Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Keith here, Jesse on the camera, and tonight on the bench we've got our, I think it was one of our first TRX4Ms, our little Diefenbacher. Yeah, it was the first one we got actually a little bit early from our friends Limited RC. We got to build them up a little bit early, kind of worked with them on that. Anyhow, we finally got a brushless system from Furiteck. It is the TRX4m Furiteck Stinger setup. Part number is FUR2260. Oh, this one's got a different number on it. Oh, yes, because it comes with the motor. But anyway, the combo number is FUR2260 Furiteck brushless outrunner setup for the TRX4m. Let's check it out. Okay, so inside the package we have your very important instruction manual. It's got some steps and some applications that you'll need to download and some setups and stuff like that on it. We'll read that in a few minutes when we get to it. And you get two separate nice little cases with very nice little packaging. You get your ESC unit in this one and your motor in this one. It is a very cool looking little outrunner, so let's start with that. Okay, so in that package you get the Furiteck Micro Komodo motor with an 11-tooth pinion gear already pre-installed on it. Let's check it out. Nice packaging, good foam. We got those little things you put on your French fries, salt packets. And the little Komodo, this is a 1212 and a 3450 kV. I think that's how that works in there. But it's so small, that's going to be completely different than we're used to. It has already a mounting plate onto it. I guess that's where we screw it directly into this setup. We'll get into there in a few minutes. Looks cool. That guy is so tiny. Be very careful. You don't want to bend this little motor wire coming out the PCB board on the little outrunner there. Pretty cool. Very cool. Also, you get some motor screws and a little tiny, looks like an 50,000 050 wrench. Okay, and in the other package we have the Furiteck Stinger 1/18 scale micro ESC, and I believe it has the Bluetooth module pre-installed. It's not written on the packaging anywhere, but yes, I believe that is the Bluetooth module, so we can use the Furiteck app to do the programming on the fly. It's very cool. Very simple, plug and play. Even comes with a 3D printed 3-pin connector for your TRAXXAS style 3-pin plug that they used on the battery, so we can plug that right in. So pretty much virtually a plug and play unit. A couple settings with the Bluetooth on it, good to go. So very nice. We don't like chopping ends and doing that all the time. It's nice when things work. Now, before we get into that any deeper, you're also going to need to swap out the radio. We're going to use our trusty orange shakalaka, rugged, whatever they call him. Love-hate relationship. Sometimes we love them, sometimes we hate them. We just recently both got them updated by Spectrum, and that's what, yeah, Spectrum, and they're working a lot better than they were before. We've also decided to pair that with an SR515 receiver, Wi-Fi channel receiver, because when winter comes back, we're going to put a Rick Perry 72-weight plow on. I think that's what it is, right? 72 directional plow. I think they call it like an 8-weighted plow or something like that. They call it so, or V plow. Pretty cool unit. That's going to mount on the front. He comes with mounting brackets and everything. He's done all the hard work. All we got to do is bolt that on, hook it up. That's why we have the extra 3 channels, so we can run all that off of here. Just do it once, do it right the first time. Oh, he's welded this one together, Jesse. Yeah, he's got the little blocks on the bottom welded on. Oh, nice. Yeah, we love his plows. We have far too many of them, as no person should have. But anywho, we are going to open this guy up. We're going to pull out this factory 2-in-1. Start by ripping the battery tray and all that stuff out of it. Easiest way to do it, pull out the transmission, put it all back together, put it back in. Now we can use this power plant in something else. It's nice to have the 2-in-1 with the motor. You plug in a receiver, you have another little micro or something you can bang around with. But anyhow, I'm going to shut up and pull this thing apart. See you in a few seconds. Okay, so let's rip it apart. We're going to start on the back. Everything is bolted into the chassis really nicely. We have the ESC, 2 screws in the back. You might as well pull all the plugs. Get them ready to pop out. We'll use this in another micro project or something. Great little all-in-one unit there. Pretty cool. You got to pull out the 2 bolts here to hold in the battery tray so we can free up the transmission. You can see I'm using all the bolts that we're using for the project. I'm keeping in the work area of our CowRC magnetic work mat, and all of our scrap bolts go in the back. We get to clean that out once a week. So we're putting all the bolts we're not putting back in over here, and we're keeping all the ones in a nice little pile right here. So this mat is also whiteboard marker safe, so you can actually make notes if you have to go out and do something. So that's kind of cool. Where the previous ones were not. We don't need to take all that out. You get 4 screws back here, all 4 corners. Pop this guy out. You're going to want to make sure your motor wire and the zip tie on this side are free and clear from that. So I'm going to grab a pair of flush cuts. Get your guys a nice set of flush cuts. These are also known as palm nippers. I don't know why they call palm nipper, but oh, I guess because they nip in your palm nicely. But get yourself a nice set, or just be like me, wait 20 years and a good friend like Jesse will buy you one, and just be stubborn about it, and end up with one day. So it's always more than one way to skin a cat. Looks like there's a local event happening the weekend of like July 17th or 18th out in Winkler, Morden, with another one of the clubs. I got to get some more information. They invited us out, so we will keep you guys updated, because we'll probably both be out for that one if we can make it. So stay tuned for that. I think it's some kind of like community event, so everybody's welcome, so that'll be kind of cool. So we'll go check out. That's with Gerald there. So. Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah. It's got that hole in the bottom of the skid plate there. It's kind of cool how they made it sit crazy low into the skid. Okay. Oh, my dry shaft's still apart. I forgot there were multiple pieces. There's our $200 TRAXXAS dry shafts. This was $50. This was $150. Okay, they weren't that much, but they were still like, I will take those, please. It was a painful buy. Painful buy. You're gonna have to pull off your rear dry shaft stub or output or whatever. We actually don't have heat shrink on these ones either, but I guess it's not needed on the top side, right? So the goal is just not to yard sale this everywhere. You're gonna push that pin of that shaft through. That's more yard sale coming. Got it. Perfect. Boom. Perfect. So if you're not sure, take a picture. Always good. Everybody's got a cell phone hanging around. Snap a quick picture. You know how it goes back together. We can just rewind the tape and check it out. So same but different.
You have to take all that out to get the motor.
It's behind all the gears, yeah. Whoop. I'm just going to transfer it back right to the other side. Like the kids say, Robert is your mother's brother. Oh yes, but now remember this bearing has to go in below everything else. That's why it was such a bad at getting it apart. The bearing kind of has to hook underneath the edge of the teeth on this gear, which you can rock it around and get it. Okay. Oh, there you go. One more bearing in the case. We can leave that guy. We're keeping him. Anyhow, 2 screws in the bottom of that hole need to come out. So it's a fixed motor placement. You don't have to worry about doing a ligament or alignment or whatever you want to call it after the fact. Now they've given us 2 screws with the motor, and you are going to want to use theirs just in case there is a difference, and theirs... Good man. Theirs are longer already, I can see about 3 times. So we're just going to put these guys back into the stock motor. And we'll put this guy in our parts bin to be forever forgotten about. The screws, they're... Oh! No, that's for the pinion. Okay, I was like, those screws aren't 050. I was like, what's going on here? That's for the pinion. There we go. So it's an aluminum spacer block into the outrunner. I'm going to put just a little bit of Loctite onto it. You're not going to want to be sloppy on that at all, just a very little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so just evenly snug that up, and I'm talking like snug, guys, just we don't need to get a wrist or an elbow in there or nothing involved. If you have to, keep your hands on the table, just use your fingers at all times. That makes sense. Don't crank this stuff, it's so tiny, you damage those little threads. Now this little 0.50, 0.050 50 thousandths is going to be for the pinion. I should have checked this tight before I put it in there, maybe Loctite, but hell. We'll trust they did their job on it. Okay, since we have it open, we're just going to reapply a little bit of cow RC Utter Butter onto the gears. You don't need a lot. You can get a little bit draggy if you get too much in there, so just enough to give everything a nice even coating. I love these applicators. Very nice. Okay, so that fit together absolutely perfectly. You're going to want to give the motor a couple turns, make sure everything is turning. Okay, a couple hundred turns, but make sure all the gears are turning. Slowly put all your screws in. Do not tighten any of them up until they're all in, and then these guys need to be less than finger tight, just enough to close the little gap you can see on the side of the housing all the way around. They're not holding anything down, they're just holding 2 halves that are already pre-engineered together, right? So the kit does not come with instructions because there is no instructions required. It is basically changing out a motor. Anybody can do it. So, okay, so very simple. Back together. We're going to throw that in. We just wanted to show you guys how to change the motor. There is no instructions, so 2 screws, anybody can do it like I just said. We're going to put this back together. If you're using the aluminum dry shafts, you don't have to worry about phasing or clocking them because they only fit one way together. I believe the plastic ones are the same way, but they might have the 4 sides, so just make sure your pins that your CV's pivot on are lined up, or else you end up with that cogging action that nobody likes. We're gonna put this guy back in. We'll come back when it is time to do the programming. We're gonna mount the ESC right on the back with some double-sided tape. Nothing crazy. And we'll jump back in when we do the programming with the app that you need to download to your phone or laptop or tablet or whatever you want to use. Anything Bluetooth will work, I think, right? I don't know. You can put an app on a computer and use Bluetooth. Oh, yeah, cool. I don't know that stuff. Mold. Okay, guys, bit of an update on that motor install. As you can see, we've got everything ripped apart again. We've kind of moved backwards from a few seconds ago, but the motor screws they supply are too dang long. We put it all together, and I noticed we just had a little bit of a wiggle on the motor plate. It was just not tight. Pulled it apart, checked the screws. They were all the way down. We didn't want to go down too deep and hurt anything, and they're too long by about 0.5 millimeter. So the stock motor screws are sufficient to hold this big, heavy, fat, ugly can up, so they're going to hold this nice little outrunner with not a challenge at all. Anyhow, we're going to put it back together, catch you guys back in a few seconds. Remember, stock motor screws with this unit do not use supplied, they're trash. Oh, and the pinion gear, it was tight. Okay, we're just waiting for the battery to charge on that so we can finish that up. We've got everything mounted, ready to go. We'll jump into that in a second. Anyhow, I'm holding an empty bag because we are messing with some wheel and tire setup for this. We have the new Pro X's number 9782, the Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X. Pretty nice little wheel tire package. Throw that in the garbage. Watch this knife, it's trying to cut me. We are going to put those on a new set of Method wheels, and that is not them. Do we keep a tag for them? 9781 blue black. They didn't have black, so we are going to paint them black. They're blue and silver. I don't know why they're tagged as blue black, but anyhow, we are also adding the TRAXXAS brass rings to the center of all 4 wheels. This is more of a trail truck. He is going to get the plow. We do want to have weight spread out all across him evenly, and the wheel weights are 9780, and they're 31 grams a piece, and they come in 2 in a package. Then we also got some Proline closed cell 2-stage foam number 6169-00. Of course, with a giant, super heavy, thick bag. Always good for keeping parts in. Now, these guys are kind of designed for the little bit taller tire than these, obviously. So, and you'll notice there's no room in the middle for the brass ring. Now, I'm cutting that, but we've actually been kind of messing around a little bit, and what we've come up with is rolling this guy inside out, so that you end up with kind of like a buggy tire foam insert. You kind of work that around a little bit. You can open that up, and then this guy fits in there nicely now. Just work it slowly so you don't cut an edge and rip it. Now mind you, have to do this all inside the tire. I'm just showing you the end result. So you end up with kind of that profile, a little bit more rounded, kind of try something different. And then you have the 2-stage foam on the outside of that to give you that extra little bit of push. Now, it is going to be a lot firmer of a tire, but it also stretches the height of the tire and makes it a little bit skinnier. And I really like the taller, skinnier kind of look, opposed to the factory Trail Canyon tire with no foam. 2-stage foam and just a tire. Just keep everybody in order here, right? So, a little bit of work. We're going to put these together. You're going to want to start getting your foam in there. It's very tight, especially with these tight lips in the middle. They have very big lips, the TRAXXAS, on their beadlock tires. So. And everything's new and sticky. Put a little baby powder on there. I'm sure that'll go a long way for helping getting everything to seed in and stuff, and then just clean it up after. But I don't have any babies or baby powder, so. You think they get baby powder for babies? I know where cat milk comes from though, but. So it's a bunch of foam. You're going to have to kind of work it out. Kind of, if you got a lump, pull separate ways, kind of pull it around, move it around. Try to get all the lumps and bumps out of it before you put the next one in. You don't want to have any wrinkles. It's pretty easy. It's not impossible. Just keep working at it. You'll get it nicely. Fold this little guy like that. Like that. Keep the rib on the outside. It does want to roll back over. And just get it set in there. Open it up. I like to 2-finger, pull, push, rotate. Just keep going like that all the way around, both sides. Get that in there. Now you want to make sure your lip is tucked, everything's in there nice. Take your ring sideways in, turn. Exceptionally careful you don't rip the tire. Get it in about halfway before you start the turn. And then you just spend some time, just massage it all around and make sure everything's happy. Keep the lips on the inside of the bead ring. Just keep working it around. It'll kind of find its way. Baby powder will really help with freeing that up on the inside. I just don't have any handy. Never had any. So yeah, they will soften up over time. Driving them, you can even just keep massaging them once they're fully together by hand to kind of help break that foam down a little bit. Another trick with foam, this stuff's already really light, but you can actually go and wash it in hot soapy water and get some of the oil that's in the foam out, and that'll actually make it less sticky, more fluffy. Is that a thing? So anyhow, we're going to put these together. Make sure when you mount them on the rim, they are directional wheels. You get these tires pointing the right direction. You don't want to have to take it apart, flip it around. We'll be back in just a few seconds once we have the nice black wheels, these mounted on the truck, and we're going to fire up that little Furiteck. Okay guys, we obviously have that in, all powered up. We've gone through, set everything up. The instructions are very good in English. Read through them thoroughly. They will get you the Furiteck app or Furiteck app, whatever you want to call it. You got a whole bunch of different settings in there. We're just playing with setting a throttle curve on it. You can do forward throttle, reverse throttle curve on it. Gives you even telemetry for the little guy when he's running there. It's pretty cool. And things like that. Gives you your throttle and your RPMs and such like that. Where your throttle percentage is on your map you just made. Some RPMs and stuff. Pretty cool little stuff to set it up with. All the settings you would find on there, any programmer, and it links to the little Bluetooth dude on top. Now let's check that guy out. You can see the little Furiteck Stinger, I think the motor is called in there. You see him start winding away in there. And then we get some wheels turn. There we go. So yeah, crazy amount of slow. It does have FOC, so force orientated control, so even if we hold it at that speed, it's just, I don't have to apply any more throttle, it's just going to keep going. Climb up over. Very cool. Very strong, yeah, love it. The FOC is a very cool addition to the hobby, so. Yeah, very cool. And also, still a lot of snap, still spin the tires off the hole, go pretty good. Now the app says the drag brake isn't turned on, but you can clearly see she's running some pretty heavy drag brake in there, so I can't turn it down from what it's set on. I think it might be a locked setting when you have it in the crawler profile for it, so some things you can play with when you buy your own. Check it out from Furiteck. We picked ours up and eliminated RC, Winnipeg, Manitoba, so, or ERC.com. They are stocking the Furiteck parts for the SCX24, AX24, and the TRX4m. This is the first one we're going to get. The next one we're going to try is going to be in our obese, heavy, brass-laden AX24, because that little motor gets hot. Carrying around 400 grams of rats. So yeah, he's pretty stoked, that little dude. Anyhow, looks great. We don't know. I think the lights on the body should still work if we plug that in. What do you think, Nick, first one? Yeah, so the Pro Scale light kit, we're just going to kind of wrap the wire up in there. We'll transfer this light kit into another body or vice versa, find another body for this rig, but, well, no, we're going to keep this body. So yeah, I think somebody's making an adapter to make that work with this unit. I think I've seen that somewhere online, so we'll have to look into that. But anyhow, let's go for a little tutor on the old Micro Mountain. Okay guys, so that brings us to the end of the little update we did. The wheels and tires with those dual stage foams, as we kind of flipped them and stuffed them, as you've seen, are working phenomenally. The truck has so much more control without all that side roll and flop of the empty tires. This little Komodo brushless motor is amazing with the Stinger ESC in it. As you can see, he's just sitting here crawling, leaving his little dirty tracks on the trail. I've got the trim just turned up a little bit, got the motor just humming in there just a little bit. He's slinging away in there. It's pretty cool. I really didn't think... I think this is probably one of the slowest crawlers we have out of most of anything now, and still has really good range top end, so very, very, very good setup. Very happy with that. Look, you can get a little storage box. Yeah, so make sure you check out, you can buy these individually, you can buy them in a combo. It's just best to buy the combo for the TRX4m. It comes with the Bluetooth, comes with everything. $150 Canadian, so probably $100 wherever you guys are. Good, cheap price, great product. We're gonna run it for a while. We'll let you know if you have any problems with it, but Furiteck is definitely at this point not new, and we have a few of their other ESCs, but just brushed setups in a couple of our SCX24s. And now that we can get these brushless setups readily available locally from Eliminator RC, we will pick up a few more of those for our AX24 and our SCX24s and crap like that. So, yeah, pretty cool. Very happy with that. The FOC is pretty cool in there too, because it will just keep trucking away like that, so it won't just stall out. So, FOC is force oriented control, or what's the other one? Force oriented control or something else. Field oriented control. It senses when there's a load applied and then it equalizes for the load applied, from my understanding. Ben will tell you if I'm right. He'll let you know. So, thanks, Ben. Yeah, very cool. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, that's it for this one. Try that wheel and tire trick we did. That's a lot better than the floppy donkeys. That is very, I think in the crawling that probably did a very large part of it. Getting that equal weight balance out throughout the whole truck. Different scales, different things apply for different things. You have to remember that. We have the SCX6s. We're running a hard, stiff foam in them, different setup altogether, and that's what they like. We tried the soft foam, they don't like it. So, steady foam, way to go on those. What else? What else? Oh, just don't run knot foams. That's just not worth it. That's right.